We have established that these glasses are not super glued to her face. I still want to try to rope something though. Who is she now? Who was she before? I don't think that stand up and applause was, okay, everything's fine. You're forgiven. That ripping off of the vulnerability band-aid is going to be a lot easier and maybe sooner than we think. Who knows?
Hi, Miranda.
Hi, Roxanne. How are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm so excited to talk with you again. So, in case you don't remember, I'm Roxanne from Everything About Hallmark, and the podcast is Chat with Roxanne. And I think we talked about a year ago,
I
right?
think so. Yeah, I think it was
Yes.
the beginning of the season last
Yes.
year. Yeah,
Yes.
so nice to see you again.
Nice to see you. You look lovely. I love your hair all down
Oh,
like that.
thank you. Yes, I've decided to let it grow. Usually after a project, I'm like, give me the scissors. I'm always trying to cut my own bangs. I'm always trying to cut my hair. And finally, I was like, this is a sign of maturity. I'm going to stop doing that and leave that to professional people. Um, so yes, the alternative has just been to let it get kind of annoyingly long.
It kind of leads into the question I'm going to ask you.
Oh, the hair. I don't
I
know.
know. Wait. So I decided to like take to the fans and say, what would you like to discuss or no? So I have it written down. Usually I just talk, but I want to get it right.
Okay.
So this is what they say. Is there going to be, and you're not going to be able to truly answer this, but you will, I promise, like in a
I'll do my
roundabout
best.
way. We get
Okay.
it. We get it.
Okay.
Is there going to be a scene where Edie takes off her glasses, pins up her hair, and dresses up for Lucas? And then someone wrote under it, I really want to know if there's going to be a scene where Lucas removes her glasses and the pin from her hair. And I was like, that's a little Hallmark After Dark kind of
Ah,
thing.
oh my gosh. Okay, well, let's see how I can answer that. Will there be a time where we see Edie without glasses? I think this season is it's been cool because we get to see Edie in a lot of different environments, and we'll see that kind of we've noticed her kind of settling into the town, making friends with other folks, and starting to be seen in places that are not just kind of like Lucas's office, the saloon, so that in itself is really nice. And we're seeing her perhaps at different, times of day in different environments. And even people who wear their glasses all the time to see, they do have to take them off at some point. We have established that these glasses are not super glued to her face. So within reason, we may see them.
Okay.
We may see them come off for a second.
All
Um,
right.
as far as the hairpin and the hair down moment, there might be a couple reasons for Edie to want to, impress someone in town this season. So we'll see. I feel like there's she deserves maybe a little bit of a glam moment, and we might get there. As far as Lucas removing, I just see that as being like, I know Chris is a precise guy, but that's an eye poke waiting to happen, maybe. Takes one pin out, the whole hairstyle, makeup would be like, no. Um, so we'll see. We'll see.
All right. Okay. Good answer. Thank you.
Okay, answer. Yeah.
That was a good one.
Hi, Miranda. This is Nicole from the Swing My Heart podcast. How are you?
I'm great, Nicole. I don't think we've met. Nice to
No,
meet you.
it's nice to meet you. So, my first question for you is, how does it make you feel as an actor to join a series that means so much to so many people?
I love that question. It's amazing. I mean, having a such a strong fan base surrounding a show is something that I don't think anyone takes for granted. I don't think the creators take it for granted, the writers, the crew, and specifically the cast. I think knowing that the work that you're doing through the shooting season and that window of our time in the summer is going to be so well received and so generously received at the second half of the year, if you will. is such a special feeling, and everyone has been so kind and so excited. And not what's great is that when you introduce a new character, there's going to be some folks who love the new character and who love the pending matchups, and there's going to be other people who don't. And I love that about art in general, that there's always going to be kind of this lumpy-ish reception to new people that are brought on. But for the most part, yeah, what a gift as an actor to enter into a world that's so beloved and brings a lot of people a lot of comfort, especially in difficult times.
Yeah. I love that answer. That's great. And the show means a lot to me. And I'm glad that you're a part of it. And I hope you're a part of it for many years to come.
Oh, me too. I love it. I'm so grateful.
Thank you.
Hi, Miranda. It's Stephanie from the Heart and Motion podcast. How are you doing?
I'm great, Stephanie. How are you?
I'm good. You were fantastic to answer some questions for me last season, and we got them up on the website. So it's
Oh,
good to
yeah,
be
I know
able
that
to.
was the one day I couldn't, wasn't a really busy travel chug, so I couldn't make a one of these work, but I'm glad we're getting to chat.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we saw a great little moment in episode 4 where it was just really fun to watch Edie's reaction to Lucas as he's, talking to the crowd. And I'm curious if you could tease for us a little bit what's ahead for Edie and Lucas in this next episode, because there are some fantastic moments.
Yes, there are some exciting little bits. This was a really fun one to shoot. This is 5. Yes, okay. 5 was really, really fun. Directed by Peter DeLuise, always a great time. Um, there's, I think the moment that we see at the end of episode 4, where Edie stands up and acknowledges she's really into raising those taxes. So she's for that. And but there's a moment of connection. And I think it's the first step forward post Lucas letting her down.
Yeah.
I don't think that means it's going to be smooth sailing. I don't think that stand up and applause was, okay, everything's fine, you're forgiven. I think that it's the opening the door once again. These characters are always, with their relationship, it feels like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps
Yeah.
forward, 1 step back. And I
Mhm.
love that because that mimics, so many relationships in real life, be that, romantic relationships, friendships, business partnerships. We're always in this constant kind of this dance, this conversation with the people in our lives. And I think to tease this next episode, there's going to be a couple bumps, and there are going to be maybe some moments of, conversation and forgiveness. And I think we can look forward to a little bit of vulnerability on both ends, which is exciting.
Absolutely. It's fun to see both of them kind of just edging towards each other a little bit more,
Yeah,
even with the steps back. We know that we're getting forward movement. So it's been fun to watch.
exactly. Yeah, totally.
Okay, I'm Rachel with Hallmarkies Podcast. It's so nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you too.
And I'm curious, so we have a lot of strong women in Hope Valley. I'm curious, what do you think that Edie offers that maybe the other women don't offer?
Oof, that's a tough one. Yes, that's one of my favorite things about this show is that it's just it's filled with strong, intelligent, kind, independent women. So that is especially, dealing with a show that's set in the 1920s now. It's really cool to see women and women's stories kind of at the forefront of Hope Valley. What does Edie offer that the others don't? I don't know. I mean, I would say like I would say maybe that she has a bit of being still a bit of a newcomer to town. Maybe she hasn't totally let the complete love and open-heartedness of Hope Valley like wash over her entirely. I think we're heading in that direction for sure, but I think she still has that little bit of big city in her where there's a bit of defensiveness maybe, or a little bit of uh, you know, curtness or protectedness, being that she is from, a big place where she's had to fight for her place, especially as a woman in a largely male-dominated field. So I think that the longer she's in Hope Valley, I think it'll, she'll maintain, of course, the parts of herself that are true to her and that make her this kind of feisty, independent soul. But I'm excited to see how, the other women in the town influence her to maybe take a load off, relax a little bit, just chill, let the guy in. It's all gonna be fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think she can learn a thing or two.
She kind of has an outsider perspective.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
nice, especially when you have so many characters on a show who've been insular and inside the town for so long. I think it's kind of cool from a writing and story perspective to have still someone who's, inching their way in. And it's cool. We get to see that in characters such as Edie and Oliver and newer folks. So
Yeah. Great.
yeah.
Hi, Miranda. I'm Catherine with the Rom-Com Love Podcast. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I like what's behind you. It's like,
Oh, thank you. It's just I took scrapbook paper and made some quilt-like
I
stuff.
love it. I love quilts. So
Oh, well,
like, what is
thank
that?
you.
Quilt on the wall? Very cool.
I wish I was that talented. Nope, just paper.
You know what? Hey, I didn't know. You fooled me. I thought it was quilt.
Um, well, I'm going to continue on with the ladies' conversation. So we learn in episode 1 that Edie is now with the ladies of the town, which kind
Yeah.
of throws Lucas for a little loop. And I'll honestly kind of say it's kind of a fun rite of passage for Molly and Florence to be invested in a relationship in
I
Hope
know.
Valley.
How honored. It's such an honor with those two. We've been flow mode.
Yes, you have a flow mode. You hit the spot.
We
So,
did.
what's that dynamic been to have that kind of new side of Edie to play with?
Oh, so fun. Yeah, I think it just kind of it shapes the character in an exciting way, and it's, we get to learn you learn so much about a character based on how they interact with other characters. So I think the more that she gets integrated into the town and is seen with other folks and is helping or is in other areas, of day-to-day Hope Valley life, the more we learn about Edie and we get to see different sides of her. And it's just been fun too, getting to work with so many awesome people. The people that perhaps last season I didn't get to work with as much and would just chat with in the green room or on set, but really fun to have some scenes all together. We've had a lot of fun and a lot of laughs and made some great friends. It's been nice.
I definitely am looking forward to some more Flomo with it. Because Loretta and Johanna played that scene with the bunting with you. That was just such a
Yes,
fun one with the back
it
and
was
forth
fun.
and
It
their
was
looks.
really, really fun to do. Yes, the little like, peck, 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 peck. Yeah,
Yep.
they're like little birds. Great.
Hi, Miranda. From Faith, Love, and Friendship podcast. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Good. Piggybacking off because a lot of the listeners that listen to my podcast, there's been a huge fandom for Edie and for the both of you. So a lot of people, obviously, we love you from day one when you entered our TV screens.
Oh.
But a lot of people would want to know, are we going to get to know more about Edie's backstory this season?
I think, yeah, we will actually. There's a couple of chunks, a couple of episodes that shed a light on maybe Edie's past few years, which was really, really fun to play. And again, that fine dance of who is she now? Who was she before? Are there, pieces of the past that are not totally closed chapters? And are there still, open possibilities that maybe she's toying with? So yes, I will say we will get to know in the next few episodes, I think, a little bit more about what was happening with Miss Edie before she walked into that office with her rolled up piece of paper many days ago.
Thank you. We're excited to see. The biggest thing that they wanted me to relay is everybody loves both Edie and Lucas, so we are looking forward to it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That really, that's cool. That means a lot.
Okay, so the way I worded this kind of sounds, again, Hallmark After Dark, but it's not.
Roxanne, I'm sensing a theme here.
It's not. So
Okay, let's go.
last season you had Edie and Lucas had two very physical, this is why I mean physical scenes.
Okay.
The one coming
Yes.
up is quite physical.
Yes.
And I like the fire scene, the roping of the calf. We won't
Yep.
say what's coming up because
Yep.
it's so fun. I mean, they're physical for you as an actor. And I was wondering, do they take longer? Like, if you could give us a little backstory or behind the scenes when you film something like this, does it take longer? I remember Chris saying his different shirts and how he puts 100% in it. And even with the one that we get to see on Friday, not Friday, this Sunday,
Hmm.
is there more to it? Like, takes longer?
Totally. That's a great question. I think that anything that's involving, physicality or even, anything with horses or stunts and the more the active scenes, they're going to take a little bit longer. They just take a little bit more planning too. And I think it's about like really, you always hope that you're listening during blocking and rehearsal, but especially these times, we really do need to be listening when there's safety and a lot of moving parts on the line. So I think it maybe takes a little bit longer to set up, but everyone's such a pro on set. And once we're there, we know what we're doing, and the camera guys are so awesome, and they're so great at being really specific about like what they're capturing in what moment. So it's never kind of a general wash of like, okay, do this extraneous thing and I hope we get it. It's very specifically like we're doing this piece, then we're doing this piece, and we're doing this piece. And there's always, check-ins to make sure that people are okay. But I like it. I love doing, active scenes. I'm a pretty like active person myself. So I like when we get a little physical in a scene.
Mhm.
Yes.
They're memorable, that's for sure. And I
Yeah.
love it because your character is new and not all the characters get to have such like memorable scenes, like the calf roping. That was like
Right.
amazing. And then
Right.
the whole scene with the fire. And then what comes up next. So
Yes.
I know. I'm like, wow, they're roping you in. They want to keep you.
Oh, I mean, I hope so. I'll stick around if it means I have to do I still want to try to rope something though, and I would
Yes.
also like to my turn to kick down a
Mhm.
fence. So yeah,
Mhm.
but I'm kind of like I feel like Edie's like the Robin to Luke's
Yes.
Batman right now, and
That's
I
cute.
love, I'm a good wing girl. Um,
Okay.
but no, it's a lot of fun, and I'm grateful to get to do kind of different scenes and bring them on.
Thank you.
My next question for you is why do you think Edie is drawn to Hope Valley? Why is she there? Is it for Lucas or is there something deeper?
That's a great one. I think that it started, she didn't know she was going to have this relationship with Lucas. So I think a fresh start and a new place, and obviously Hope Valley it's not a stranger of a place to her in any way. She's, grown up adjacent to the area, having, family ties, Benson Hills and everything. So I think a fresh start and an accepting community and a place where she can start to kind of carve her own path. I think it's obvious that there's also, the Lucas of it all is a person that she wants to be close to and form a relationship with, albeit a roller coastery one at times. No, but I think it's like the heart of Hope Valley that really keeps her there. I think she has a lot of admiration for the people of the town and how they function as a community. And I think that, community and family is something that's really important to Edie. And even in her work as a lawyer, she is so quick to stand up for those who might not have a voice or those who really need her. And I think, yeah, there's lots of like-minded folks in Hope Valley that hold those same principles.
That's a great answer, and Hope Valley is a wonderful place. I honestly wish it existed in real life.
It exists for us every Sunday
Yes,
for an hour.
for sure.
Okay, so Edie and Lucas have kept most of their conversations pretty connected to business.
Mhm.
So I'm curious, what does Edie need to see from Lucas in his actions, not just his words,
Mhm.
to feel safe enough to admit that her interest might extend beyond business?
Ooh, that's a nice one. Yeah, I think that business is like that. it's kind of like their accepted secret language where they're allowed to say so many other things under the guise of it's a work conversation or
Yeah.
it's a work this. And so that's been kind of like this overlying excuse in a way to communicate with each other for so long. I think they're both getting a little bit tired of that too. I think that they can only hold on to that for so long. And I think someone just kind of needs to rip the Band-Aid off. And I think that's a scary thing to do. I think things like seeing Lucas and, seeing him stand up for what I know or what Edie knows he believes in and what he knows he really believes in, that's definitely a step in the right direction. I think it's admirable to see somebody stand up for what they know is right, even if it's not the party line of the time. But I think that the more she's able to see those little pieces and get a full picture of, yes, this is the person who I think they are, then that ripping off of the vulnerability band-aid is going to be a lot easier and maybe sooner than we think. Who knows?
That would be great, wouldn't it?
Right? Wouldn't it? To stop having our secret business chats? I don't know, but we'll see. Still a long road.
Well, we're excited to see where it goes. And hopefully, the business conversations are giving them an opportunity to get to know each other better. And
Exactly.
Edie knows what, she knows what Lucas has in there if he'll just make the right decision. So
Exactly. We're waiting. We're waiting.
thanks.
So is playing Edie, is this your first time playing a lawyer? And secondly, has it inspired you to research what it would have been like for a female lawyer or just a lawyer in general during that time period?
Yes, it is playing Edie is my first time playing a lawyer of any kind, either a modern day lawyer or a lawyer in the 20s. So yes, there was a lot of research that goes into that, and the writers are so awesome, and everything is really, well researched and of the time, and she's definitely a trailbreaker. But I think that the that aspect of it is what really lends itself to kind of like this briskness that she has and the quickness and the quick-wittedness and also the guardedness and things like that.
Mhm.
But I'm such a I love history. I love research. Like sometimes if I can't go to bed, I just like will find a random topic to research. I'm reading a book called The Rise and Fall of the Dinosaurs right now. So yeah, I've gone way back. There were no dinosaur lawyers that I know of. But I'm sure they they had their own judicial system of some capacity. So no, any role that requires a bit of a deep dive, which to me I think is kind of every role. I love to know what what it would, take to be a lawyer in this time and the struggles and the parts that she's kind of making up as she goes, because I don't think she would have a ton of female mentors to look to in this time, and a lot of previous examples of, how to get the job done as a woman in 1920. So yeah, I think that's kind of where her confidence comes into being maybe
Hmm.
the first of anyone she knows to try to go after what she's going after.
Yeah. Okay.
As we've established, you've had some fantastic scenes already this season, but we do know that, or know that there's a lot more coming up because this is only going to be episode 5. So
Right, we're
I'm
not even
curious
halfway.
huh?
We're not even halfway.
We're not even halfway.
Wow, so much has happened. Oh my
I
gosh.
know it's been very fun and
It really
action
has
packed
been.
and really good timing. Everything's just, like
Yeah.
it doesn't seem too rushed and it seems like we get enough. And of course, we always want more.
Oh, I know. We're
But
excited this season. It was a good one, I think.
my question is have we seen your favorite scene to film in season 13 yet? Or if we haven't, what can you tease for an Easter egg so when we see it, we'll know that was your favorite?
Okay, let me think here. Have we seen it yet? Um, no, I don't think so. Oh, I'm so bad with favorites. I'm like that 5-year-old that's like, they're all my
You
favorite.
want to do a top 3?
I'll do, okay, no, I can choose. Yeah, maybe like my one or two favorite scenes. I don't think we have seen them yet. And what can I tease? Oh, we had a really fun time shooting one scene that we haven't quite seen yet. And that was what could I tease about it? was lovely. It was very, like a cinematic take on the story. And my other favorite scene is there's a moment in it that is so slightly inspired by one of the most lauded and praised television shows of all time. That's what I will say. An iconic line. If you hear it, you hear it. If not, too bad.
All right. We'll see if Hearties can pinpoint them
We'll
for you.
see. We'll see. All right.
All right, for my second question, I wanted to ask you because I read, how was it for you those first days on set? Because, like I told you with my first one, we all loved Edie from day one. Those first days, taking it way back, being the new kid on the block, and I love because I read that your grandmom was a fan of the show.
Yes. Both of my grandmothers who are great fans of the show. Specifically, my one grandmother, when I told her, she kind of said with a straight face, she's like, "Oh yeah, no, that's my favorite show. No, I've seen every episode." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, can we have like tea and you can tell me what's going on? Because I got a lot to catch up on. I got seasons worth." So yeah, she's been actually truly an asset to me. Um, but no, the first couple days on set, let me think. Yeah, it was awesome. I got to do a lot of riding at the beginning. They were just kind of seeing how if I was comfortable on the horse. That was actually a really nice way to get settled because that's something I love to do anyway. So it felt nice to do something that felt comfortable on the first few days in a new environment. But I mean, I'm honestly not just saying this. Everyone is so wonderful, and you know that because you know so many of the cast members as well. So you know that I'm not exaggerating when I say like the best people, the best crew. I remember Erin wrote me like a beautiful note welcoming me to the show, and Chris sent me a great text message. So I felt immediately so welcomed. And a film's a busy place, right? Like the number ones on a TV show don't always have the time to do things like that. But I mean, Erin's such a special person, so getting to know her more, I'm not surprised at all that she takes the time to like really check in with people and not just as a nicety, as a real deal good gal that she is. Yeah, so I think like me being made to feel welcome just makes you more confident in the work that you're able to do because you kind of get to take away the human actor nerves and just show up and do your job without worrying about like, do I fit in? Do people like me? So that was a gift. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I'm wondering, have you?
Another physical question, Roxanne.
No, well, no, no. I've moved on. Have you had an opportunity to like, when you get to know your character so well, say, like, I don't know if Edie would say this, or I would like her to say this or do this. And then also more like a characteristic that we would see repeated, like, someone push up their,
Hmm.
glasses or whatever. And we know Edie has a tell with the ring. Now, was that scripted? And also, have you added any of your own little ideas?
Oh, I love that question. Yes, I find there are script supervisor and directors and writers and showrunner really quite flexible with, feedback about how a character would say something. There's so many characters on this show and so many voices to write from, and everyone does a great job of writing from that voice. But I mean, it's got to be hard to keep the voices in check. And maybe there's a few times where it's like, ooh, I don't know if that sounds like the way Edie would say something, or maybe that sounds a bit too forward, or even just physically like, hey, my mouth not saying those words. I don't know what's happening, but it is a tongue twister for me. Can
Mhm.
I say this word instead? This is going to sound much more natural. And people are usually pretty flexible. And that's a conversation we would have with our script supervisor. And then they check in with production and writers and showrunners and stuff. But for the most part, pretty flexible. So there were a couple times, and even in a scene too, like if Chris and I are like, oh, you know, is this how it would kind of go down? It's never huge changes or big swings at all, but just little words here and there. The tell there's a couple of times looking out where you might see this come back. I definitely have held on to that. Whether it made it or not, I don't know. Um,
Okay.
the glasses, I did have an instinct to kind of do some glasses playing. The glasses are such a technical element to shoot around as well that very quickly we decided that the glasses should just go on my head. And once there's no glare and once they're sitting there, I can't do any like actory
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Just because if they move, then it turns into a much bigger problem for the LX folks, and we don't want that. Yeah, but there's definitely like some little pieces. I think with Edie, it's also, a lot of the vests and the
Mhm.
suit jackets and things like that. So just kind of adjusting those and being used to being in a place where she wants to feel kind of like put together and ready to speak in front of people. So I think there's little moments. And just the way she holds herself, I think she has like an eloquence to her and a bit of a formality that's fun to play and also fun to track it maybe starting to go away towards the latter half of this. Not go away, but just lessen a bit the latter half of this season.
Do you have to wear a corset?
No, I'm one of the few who I don't
Okay.
I know some people do, but I've never worn one. I think they wanted to lean into more of a true kind of like
Yeah.
gal of the 20s, wouldn't have been wearing a corset,
Sure.
probably wouldn't have worn one at all in her life. I think it probably would have been out of fashion by the time Edie was like a working woman.
Thank you.
So, a relationship has been developing between Lucas and Edie. That relationship has involved a lot of tension. What are the challenges as an actor in bringing that tension to the screen?
Yeah, God, there's so much tension between Chris and Miranda in real life, just easy. They say rolling and we keep going as we were fighting before. Um, no, not at all. On the contrary, usually we're like showing each other things and like talking about music or design, and then they're like, okay, now get into the headspace of tension. But um, I think it's just about like being specific about looking at the script and finding the moments because I think if it's all tension, it gets a little bit like, okay, well, cheer up, Buttercups. We don't want to just watch this all the time, but being specific about the moments where it does live. And I think that because if there are moments of levity, then the moments of tension land a lot more too. I think there needs to be that contrast in order for them to mean something. So getting, and what's nice too is we usually have a script, the next two scripts while we're shooting two episodes. So you can kind of map out at least a bit of a sense and make some decisions based on kind of knowing a bit of the trajectory. I, as an actor, never want to do that too much because I like to be in the moment. Obviously, my character doesn't know what's coming, but being smart about uh, knowing your end as an actor and being able to find kind of that tr up and down trajectory.
That's great. And I've said this before on some episode reviews, but the push-pull kind of relationships are my favorites. Of course, I love the romance, but I also love the, back and forth too
Me
with the
too.
friends.
Me too. I'm really grateful that that's a dynamic that I get to play with on the show.
Yeah.
So we got to see a little bit of Edie talking with Florence and Molly. We talked about that earlier. And so I'm curious because Edie has kind of kept everything very close, doesn't really talk with anybody else. And I imagine that as maybe a relationship continues to develop, maybe she would need to have somebody to talk to about that. So I'm curious if you've thought about who that person in Hope Valley might be that Edie could have to reach out to, maybe another girlfriend or somebody.
Yes. I think, there's definitely we're going to start to see Edie reach out a little bit more. So there is a little bit of that coming. I think a lot of people give a lot of great advice in Hope Valley, I mean, Elizabeth's always got some kind of truth to drop, which is like, you know what, girl? Great point. I like that. Yeah, I think that she would give Edie some great advice. Um, I think maybe May, maybe Edie could go to she's, in a new happy new relationship and and has also gone through some, maritally, maybe more mundane kind of like domestic dispute things
Yeah.
with her and Mike. Very tame. But yeah, I think that there's a lot of people in Hope Valley that have dealt with relationships that haven't been a totally straight line. So I think anyone who can resonate with the on and off or the push and pull would be someone to confide in.
Well, we definitely like the Edie and Lucas moments, but I'm also very excited to see Edie develop more of those friendships in Hope Valley. So,
Yes, totally. Me too. I think it'll only make the relationship between Edie and Lucas stronger if we get to kind of see Edie in her own light as well. Her own passions, like what does she
yeah,
want to do
yeah,
here? What are her goals? So it's
yeah.
exciting.
Okay.
Now you said that you and Chris get along very well, and I'm just curious, is chemistry something that you like think about and okay, we've got to like consciously like build this so it reads on screen, or do you just let it happen naturally?
Hmm. Yeah, I think it just kind of let it happen naturally. A lot of it's in the writing too, and just kind of honoring what's on the page and having a respect for each other as actors and as people. And yeah, just kind of letting I think it's just a lot of trust. I trust that he's going to deliver and do his job, and I hope that he feels the same of me. So we don't really have to kind of discuss a lot of that. It's just more so meeting in the middle, two prepared people, and kind of letting the chemistry or whatever happens in between, letting that kind of fly.
Mhm.
But it's been really nice. He's such a great scene partner, and totally lucked out with having, a vast majority of my scenes with Chris.
So Chris has shared that he's got like in his trailer, he's got like 5 or 6 different steps that if he gets his script memorized, then he can
Oh, I
move
thought
on
you
to
were
the
gonna
next
say,
thing.
okay.
Oh, I hope I'll
Six
keep it's not after dark, though I am the
notes.
after dark girl, so that's kind of funny. So I was just curious if you have any things that you do while you're learning your script.
Ooh. Um, yeah, I mean, I love to go for walks. I love to go for runs. I know it's tricky to sometimes I'll put my script on like a treadmill and run. I'm such a kinetic learner and a physical person, so moving my body while I learn my lines, I find super helpful. And I find like if I'm moving while I'm trying to take something in, it just lands so much quicker. And saying it, aloud to myself and in my trailer, it's tricky. I like to sometimes I like to keep my door open, chat with the ADs, It can get it's a busy time and sometimes there's a lot of waiting around, but it's also a great opportunity to, work on a couple other like computer projecty things. And then maybe I'll do like a little yoga flow or something to stay moving. We are so lucky to shoot at such a beautiful location, so it's not
Mhm.
uncommon to want to walk around and walk over here as long as I just don't want people to lose me. Sometimes the third AD is like, okay, where did she go? She's on another walk. Um, yes, as long as I stay moving, I'm pretty happy with getting it all in my brain.
I just wasn't sure if you were over in Chris's trailer building Legos with him or playing PlayStation when
He
it
has
when
a
it, when he
whole
hit those marks.
he's got a whole thing going on there. He's got a man cave. He's got like weights in there, 6 soaps, Legos, a PlayStation. Um, yes, he's really got it decked out. I'm not quite at that level yet, but maybe I can take some inspiration from that. There's a lot of Lego folks on this cast. A lot of people enjoy their Lego. Maybe
That's
I'll
awesome.
inherit that.
We'll see what next season brings.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
All right. We saw Edie go through some really high emotions, especially with the fire and going to her ranch and rescuing her horses. Do you feel like with your background in theater and whatnot, does that help you to maneuver? And how do you mentally prep for, those high intense, high emotional scenes?
Hmm. Let me think about that. Well, the fire specifically was actually, I think for all of us, a really easy thing to connect to. Sadly, so I know that we all have had connections to people, be that in California or in British Columbia or Australia or on Maui. It's something that is sadly, one degree of separation to someone who has kind of lost everything. And I don't think it's hard to imagine the despair that comes from losing everything to something so out of your control. So having that kind of in the back pocket and that really recent memory and also a really recent threat with, climate change, and this is something that's not going away. So um, pretty easy to tap into the grief and the despair on that side of things, but also remembering that, this show is about community, it's about hope, it's about what we do after the dust settles and after the rubble is kind of laid out in front of us. So I think the emotional switches between really living in a true grief, but also keeping that hope, which is the only thing that really keeps us alive as people and willing to go forward. It feels like something that we all know pretty well, and was easy to access.
Very cool. Makes sense.
Yeah, of
Thank you.
course.
So most of your scenes are with Chris slash Lucas.
Hmm.
Who's a character and or actor that you would love to have like some time with, some screen time?
Hmm. That's a good one. I'm trying to think who Edie hasn't really been in contact with. Hmm. Hasn't We haven't seen much of Edie and the kids. That would be kind of cool. Maybe there's like lawyer day at school where she can come in and do a debate or something. Yeah, that would be fun. We don't see much of Edie and Gowan. That would maybe be interesting. And then I would say, hmm, maybe Minnie. Edie and Minnie. I'd be curious about the conversations. I think both two deep thinkers.
Sure.
And I would be curious to see what conversations came of that. I'm also so curious about, Minnie's dreams and hopes. She's such a maternal character and such a heart of, this town. So I would be curious to see how they kind of like opened up parts of each other.
Cool.
Yeah,
I'd like it.
me too. Let's see.
So my next question for you is if Edie had a comfort place in Hope Valley, what would that be? And then what would it be for you, Miranda?
Oh, okay. Miranda, where are these hot springs? That's what I want to know. I am a sauna girl. I'm a hot spring girl. I'm a hot tub girl. I want a scene in these hot springs because I haven't seen them since I've arrived. So Miranda would be absolutely spending every day at the hot springs. And a comfort place for Edie. I think. I think the cafe. I think there's something kind of like cozy about the cafe when it's bustling, working at that cafe table, probably very reminiscent of, her work in the big city, kind of like finding a little corner to work in amid the hustle and bustle and being able to kind of like focus in with this cacophony of noise around her. And also snacks, girls got to eat, so having food close by for both Miranda and Edie is important.
Yeah, those are great. For me, I'd probably say that's a tough one. Either
Yeah.
the church slash school, the cafe, or the Valley Voice. And I have a soft spot for the Valley Voice because in high school a I was the editor of my high school yearbook for 2 years.
Oh, very cool. You were the Rosemary of your high school.
Yes,
Okay, so you'd fit right in, Valley
yes.
Boy.
Thank you.
Awesome.
So going back again to that last episode, such a powerful moment where Edie is, right there, center of the saloon area as Lucas is talking. Ali Devereaux said that Edie is like Lucas's center right now. And she's really helping him through those personal struggles. So I'm curious, will we see Edie face any personal struggles later on this season that challenge her steadiness?
Hmm. I think we do in a way. Yeah, I think there's a couple moments that that rock her a little bit and test her balance. I think maybe not the it might not be the one that when people watch this, I might not be talking about that exact thing. I think there's something that happens later in the season that tests her resolve a little bit. And she has to make a big decision, and she does make a big decision. And I think the pride and the ego and the fear and everything that's wrapped up in that is what she's fighting on her own, and ultimately will lead to whatever she ends up doing. That was the most secretive answer I could have ever given. But I stand by it. I stand by it.
Well, and we're excited to see it. So,
All the little breadcrumbs.
yes,
Just pick
yes.
them up. Yeah.
We'll be looking for it.
You need a vacuum.
We'll be looking for all of this.
There is all of this all over here.
Thanks.
Of course.
Is there anything that you have learned from playing Edie that you like taken into your own life?
Hmm. Okay, well, I I work as a director as well, and I was directing a commercial, and a one they really wanted a character to wear glasses. So I was able to give them, as a director, some, you know, from experience tips about how to position your face so as to avoid a glare. So that is a very specific answer, but I uh, honestly was grateful for my glasses on One Calls the Heart that gave me the insight and just made the day a lot easier. So
Yeah.
once again, these glasses just keep coming up in a positive way. May they never leave me.
Yes.
So, two things. I was number one, you are phenomenal at the facial expressions and the looks. Like that traffic light when when you're like watching Lucas get caught with a speeding ticket and the looks that you gave. So great. Loving them. I was curious, was the exercise in the script from The Office, or was that something you
Oh my
ad-libbed?
gosh. Yes, that was in the script. I can't take credit for it. No, that was all in the script. And I remember reading it being like, what? She doesn't jump. I think the wording was we changed I mean, I think they were always jumping jacks. There was something that was like, I think it said explosive hip thrusts or something. So I was like, what? Or like jump squat thrusts or something like that, which I took as that exercise where you're in a Pilates class and you're lying down and it's like a bridge and you're like
Uh-huh.
hamstring exercise. Um, so I remember thinking like, how are they going to shoot that? But we landed on some very of the time jumping jacks and gentle squats and stretching. That was really fun. But what's funny about that was we did it so many times for whatever reason we had to keep going back and back and back. And the mic kept picking up my heart because I was doing so many jumping jacks and talking at the same time that we had to keep going again for sound because we were moving my mic all over the place because my heart was like from these, which I'm a very athletic person, so I took offense to that. I was like, Trevor, our boom up. I was fighting him that it couldn't possibly be my heart rate that I was taking us down, but it was.
Oh, well, we loved it. It was a
It
fun
was
scene.
really fun. It was fun to watch it in that episode come together too. I thought it was really cute.
And I loved how you used it last week as the gearing up. So keep that one
My
coming, that
first
little
ever
gift I
reel
made.
took me 60 hours to edit that. I'm like, how do you guys do this all the time? Not 60 hours, but it just felt like it. I almost gave up. I'm not
Well, if you need tips, you know where to come to.
I do. I'm gonna outsource many of I don't know if I'm gonna do it again, but it was fun for the time.
All right, piggybacking off of what was mentioned earlier, we see so much between Edie and Lucas. Those like real moments where I feel like all of us just want to go, okay, both of you just get together, just talk it out.
Yes.
But will we get to know? Because it feels like Edie has, I don't want to say like a fear to be like, yeah, Lucas, I do like you. Yeah, I do want to get to know you. Will we get to know like what's holding her back, or what do you if we don't get to know, what do you feel like is like the biggest thing that's holding her back to open up to Lucas?
That's yeah, I think we will get to know. I think it gets parsed out, in the episodes to come. Um, but I think the main thing that's holding her back is like the same thing that holds all of us back from doing anything that we really want, which is like fear. We all want love. We all want to be loved. We want to be told that we're enough. We want to be doing enough by our own standards. And I think that the fear of rejection, or the fear of committing to something that feels like bigger than yourself, is scary, and is not something that Edie especially is going to jump into so easily. So I think it's just that repetition of seeing an example of a person that she respects and admires and ultimately wants to spend time with, and admitting to herself that, she doesn't have to go at this alone. She can lean into something that feels right, and a person that feels like they could be a really special person in her life.
Thank you for that. Because I just, from my standpoint, major kudos to you, because that's where I feel like a lot of what you've done is very good in portraying those emotions, because I feel like for myself and probably for everyone here, we've all experienced it. So you're doing a wonderful job with it.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot. Yeah, it's an important thing for me to portray and convey, because it can't just all be, it can't all be easy. I think I love being able to play the parts that feel real to life, which is, such an up and down experience that we're all on.
Thank you for that.
Thanks, Donna.